Hi there. So it's Friday. So I'm here. This is Sandra Parker here with Siobhan. Hi, Siobhan.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Let me see your jumper. What's today? Fab.
Fab
So,
again today.
oh, again today. Why not? So, what Siobhan and I are going to chat about today is what it's like to go on holiday, to travel without drinking alcohol, either the journey to get to your holiday destination or whether you're traveling for work, and then also what it's like to be away in a place where you would normally associate with alcohol, what it's like to enjoy a holiday or a weekend away without alcohol. So, Siobhan, tell me about where you're going this weekend and who with.
I'm going to Ireland this weekend, renowned for its drinking culture. Um, However, they are very, very good on the alcohol-free front as well. And I'm going with some friends from school. We started secondary school 40 years ago in September just gone. So we decided to mark the event by going over and climbing a mountain in Mayo,
That's
which is,
amazing.
which I thought everybody did it, but clearly not.
Fantastic. So that sounds fun. Tell me about who's going. So, friends from school, how many of you are going?
There's six of us in total. One of them I've actually known since I was very, very small. But so our teenage years together was, going out drinking because that's what that's what teenagers did. And then, into our 20s and having children. And, whenever we've got together, it's always been fueled with alcohol, you know, bit of fizz. And it's just what we've always done, but different this time, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. We're older, and whilst they'll still have a few drinks. That's it's not something that bothers me, but it's just the fun, it's the company, it's the getting together and the socializing together, and and that's the good bit. And I am really looking forward to doing it, alcohol free this time, which is great.
Fantastic. So these are friends you've known for a long time. So they've known you for most of your adult life as Siobhan that drinks alcohol.
Yeah.
When did you remind people when you stopped drinking?
It's going to be 21 months ago
Oh
on
wow.
on Sunday. So, which is probably when I'm going to be aching after climbing the mountain, but that's fine. It's a different kind of aching. My legs will be aching, but not my head.
Fantastic. So they've known you for all of your adult life to be drinking, and
Yeah.
then 21 months ago you went alcohol free. Like, how hard was it to spend time with your friends? Like, have you been away with them before?
Yeah.
Been alcohol free?
I have. I've been to a music festival with them last May, and it was great. They accept me for who I am because I'm still fun packed Siobhan. I still do Siobhan things that bit of and I'll still have a laugh. I'm still up for a laugh. I'm still up for the sitting there having a chat and everything like that. It's just that um there's no alcohol involved, and I think a couple of them have wound back on their consumption, which is great. And but we have more fun actually sitting over a cup of tea and having a bit of a laugh about just about life in general. And so going away being alcohol free, it doesn't phase me at all because they accept me for who I am, and we're still going to have a good time anyway.
Fantastic. And so it's great that like you're looking forward to it now and you feel like at ease with it. Like, can certainly see you still enjoy yourself for sure. What about the first time when you were at the music festival? Can you remember, like, if somebody's listening to this and they're feeling nervous about like doing something similar, whether it's a festival or going away with their friends and not drinking alcohol for the first time, what was that like for you? What advice would you give people?
uh do it, but if you're not going to be drinking, I mean, I refused to go to the music festival when I was just coming up for my 30-day breakthrough. It was just too soon. I was too new being alcohol free, or just coming up to being alcohol free, that I just didn't want to undo a lot of all the hard work that I put in, which was fine. But then when I went May just gone, I had the best time ever. I just completely enjoyed myself, got great time with the music, dancing like I'd never danced before, actually, because I had so much more energy. It was and then, someone put a video on Facebook and says, oh, you had a really wild weekend. I said, well, actually, I was stone cold sober, but I was still the same me. So it was great fun. Do it. I mean, if you want to go away, and I think you discover that fun is more authentic. You are your real self. You are genuinely enjoying yourself. And if things are getting, when you're tired, you just go to bed, which is great, and leave them all to it, and up fresh in the morning. And you cannot beat being up fresh in the morning. So, whatever about being at a music festival, so, I always used to play the tape forward to the next morning, because my B-side at the music festival was so much better, waking up fresh, cooking breakfast for however many of them there was. I think it was about 15, but that's all part of the fun. It's all part of the enjoyment. But the alcohol-free bit and the no fog and the genuine fun is just magic.
That's brilliant. I mean, what's interesting is, I remember like working with you in that, when for people that we haven't worked with, like the 30-day breakthrough and the Just the Tonic program is after the first 6 weeks, I ask everyone to take a break, but that feels quite different from trying it on your own. And I guess what you're saying, Siobhan, what it strikes me is there's a big difference between feeling good about being alcohol free, like, which is where you're at right now, versus like if you were trying to do this on your own and you had told yourself not to drink. Let's say you'd had a bender during the week and you were going away with your friends and you said, right, I'm not drinking at the weekends. I'm guessing that would feel quite tough.
Yeah, it would feel incredibly tough. I mean, apart from the fact that you got the FOMO as well, everybody else is drinking, but I'm not. That's just, not a great place to be. And then you're going through it with willpower and just sheer dogged determination. Whereas when you do it in a planned step down, step back, and then realise that actually life is better without it. And it's not that there's no FOMO. There's, anyone who in my company can drink whatever they want, but I just don't want to, because it's just that's the big difference. There's no willpower. There's no fight. There's no internal battle.
Right. Because
I wish, oh God, I wish I could have a pint of that. Actually, I'm all right as I am, thanks.
Fantastic. It's so interesting what you said there, Siobhan, about like missing out, right? Like, because I think most people can relate to that, right? Like, as you know, at the moment, I don't know if you've got much of a tan here, but like I am in Spain. I have been for the last week. And what I thought was funny was where I am in Spain is where I was 6 years ago when I had my last drink, right? So there's a restaurant in Malaga, and I remember that holiday. I remember challenging myself 2 days out of, I think it was just over a week, where I wasn't going to drink anything, and then I was having my 30-day break. But one of there's so many things now that remind me of how weird that felt in the beginning. So like going for breakfast, like you're in a nice hotel and it's like you sitting outside is quite a night, it feels quite a luxury, right? You're having breakfast and it feels quite relaxing. And the thing that I notice now is they've got cava, right? A breakfast bar, right? And this breakfast bar is open from 8 until 11. And when I was sitting on the weekends in Malaga, and there was people, I was sitting with my friends, and there's people either side, like two couples, and they were both having a glass of cava each. And that was like about 9 o'clock in the morning. And I remember when I was drinking, thinking, oh, I love the Spanish. They're so sophisticated. They have, it's like cava, they sort of like, it looks quite elegant. They have it in a champagne flute. And I remember thinking that was the way to enjoy your holiday. And then I can remember before I'd done this work and when I was trying it on my own, like having a day of not drinking, I felt incredibly self-conscious, which is really bizarre. But I remember going to a restaurant and asking for, I looked at the menu, I couldn't find anything I wanted. And I think I asked for like lime, sparkling water with lime. And I remember the guy, the waiter brought out this, it was like a shot of lime, like you know, like no nothing to dilute it, just like solid like lime with, he brought that out in a shot glass with a spoon. And I was thinking, what do I actually do with this? Right. And it's like, I was feeling self-conscious to start with, but you know, that was like 6 years ago. I know that it's become easier to have alcohol-free options, but it's funny how at the beginning it is really hard, right? Like, I mean, it's great to hear how now you're not bothered about it. Like when I was looking at those people with the cava at breakfast, I just feel really glad that, like, there's, you know, there was no judgment, but I thought, God, I'm the last person to judge anyone. I've been stuck for such a long time, but I just thought that's just a crappy way to start your day, you know. And I could see one of the women's eyes looked a bit glazed, and I was just thinking, like, what else are you going to do during the day? You're not really going to want to do anything.
No, I think that would floor me for the day. And of course, you know, one drink you get your 20-minute high, and it creates a craving for the next drink. And you know, and for me, you know, if I'd have started at 9 o'clock in the morning, I probably wouldn't have stopped, and my day probably would have ended around midday, and until I had my afternoon nap and woke up to you know, do whatever again. So yeah, and you know, you see at the airport, and you know, there's no clocks at the, if, you know, no mental clock at the airport. You know, it's 6 o'clock somewhere, or apparently, or and away you go. And I don't. It's just, I'm just so glad to be free of that mindset that, you know, holiday equals alcohol. And for me, holiday equals fun. It equals, you know, it doesn't have to be activity. You don't have to climb a mountain. You can lie on the beach, you can walk along the beach, you can get in the sea, but you don't have that fog, you don't have that craving for the next drink. And, you know, and the fun is genuine fun and enjoyment and engaging conversations and just things like that we seem to lose when we've got alcohol running through our veins.
Yeah, fantastic. And the fear of missing out is big as well, because like I keep noticing, you know, I guess when you're on holiday, you're going out for lunch, you're going out for dinner. Like, there's always the assumption that you're going to drink alcohol, right? They always hand you a massive wine list. And then I remember asking if they've got alcohol-free beer. And then they brought one out and he said, well, you won't need this, and lifted the wine menu away. And then they look at the table and they start moving all the wine glasses. And like, when I look at that now, I think, like, I'm really not bothered. It's quite amusing. But in the early days, it's sort of like, it's almost like you feel like, is there any way you could draw more attention to me? Or it feels like you're missing out. It's like, well, you can't have any of this, so we'll take this away.
Yeah, but you know, the alcohol-free options are, you know, are great, and they are getting better. You know,
yeah.
You know, I go to Ireland and Guinness Zero all day long, but then I look like one of the grown-ups, and then people just, you don't look any different to anybody else. And
yeah,
you know, and I think there is a growing culture of people that are alcohol-free curious, which is nice. And you know, and I think as we get older, sometimes, you know, we realise that, you know, our bodies aren't as capable of dealing with the never-ending, you know, every holiday's a party. You know, you don't have to do that. It's just, it's nice to be yourself and your genuine self, and with friends, and you know, and no alcohol involved, and certainly not kava at breakfast.
No.
I won't be washing my bacon and eggs down with a Guinness tomorrow. I can...
Well, I'd love you to post some pictures, share how you're doing,
and
I'll share some of me having my, I'm just looking over at the table here. We've got like, we found some alcohol-free beer in Aldi across the road. So we've got some waiting to go in the fridge. So yeah, like, share your pictures, Siobhan. And you know, I love how you're able to have such good friendships and people who have accepted you. Like, we have that huge fear that we're not going to be as much fun.
Yeah, they were, you know, and they've been incredibly supportive and encouraging of, you know, and fully embraced the alcohol-free Siobhan, which is great. And so I'm going to offer a Guinness Zero at the airport maybe now. You never know.
Excellent.
So enjoy your holiday, Sandra. Enjoy your suntan. I may come back rusty, I don't know.
Rusty but smiley.
Rusty
Fantastic.
but
Well, yeah, share some pictures and have a fabulous time. Thanks
thank
very
you.
much.
See ya. Bye.